Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to another week of Awaken and Align. I am recording this on Tuesday, December 14th. You will be able to listen to this on Mercury Wednesdays as usual. But before I begin, I wanted to read this excerpt from one of my favorite books of all time, The Four Agreements, and I just read it again for like the 10th time. But each time I read it, I gain another nugget of wisdom. And I was reading this line and I bookmarked it because I wanted to share it with the listeners of this podcast. So here we go. The first step toward personal freedom is awareness. We need to be aware that we are not free in order to be free. We need to be aware of what the problem is in order to solve the problem. Awareness is always the first step because if you are not aware, there is nothing you can change. If you are not aware that your mind is full of wounds and emotional poison, you cannot begin to clean and heal the wounds and you will continue to suffer. There is no reason to suffer. With awareness, you can rebel and say, "This is enough." You can look for a way to heal and transform your personal dream. The dream of the planet is just a dream. It is not even real. If you go into the dream and start challenging your beliefs, you will find the most of the beliefs that guided you into the wounded mind are not even true. You will find that you suffered all those years of drama for nothing. Why? Because the belief system that was put inside your mind is based on lies. That is why it is important for you to master your own dream. That is why the Toltecs became dream masters. Your life is the manifestation of your dream. It is an art. And you can change your life anytime if you aren't enjoying the dream. Wow. So I was holding off on making this announcement because I hold things very close within me because I believe, I'm an Aries, so I usually just do versus talk about things. But I just wanted to update you a little bit on what I've been up to. And if you haven't guessed already, this is a solo episode from me, Laura Chung. Hi! I've been writing a book about manifestation, more specifically about healing our belief in lack and scarcity and co creating our lives with spirit, with the divine, with the universe. And I have been really in this co creative state with spirit, with the divine. I've already healed my programming around the word God, so I use that word as well. But I have been called to reread certain books that I first started reading in my spiritual journey. And these are not accidents because I've slowed down enough and quieted my mind enough where I could hear the little signs and synchronicities and the whispers that spirit is trying to tell me. And I can only attribute this to being able to channel and also being able to co create this book with spirit. And obviously, it takes me believing in myself that I can write this book, first of all. And I'm definitely going to share a lot more about this journey with all of you. But I have definitely been going through this journey. This first came about in the summertime. And I wanted to actually look up the date specifically because I wanted to see what astrological alignments were going on at that time. I think it was the solar eclipse in Gemini, the new moon in Gemini, and I think I wrote it down in my journal because I knew something was being birthed out of me. I knew something was coming out. I just didn't know what it was, and I didn't know in which way spirit was going to lead me. And I bring this up because this week is the full moon in Gemini, and it's the last full moon of 2021. And so I kind of wanted to share a little bit about what's been going on with me and also make a couple of announcements. And don't get scared. I'm not I'm not leaving this podcast, but I have said goodbye to a lot of different things to make more space for the things that I'm calling in. So first, I just wanted to update you and make a couple of announcements. This is going to be the last episode of 2021. I'm taking a 2-week break for the rest of December, and it's gonna be really good for me personally, and I don't know, like maybe other things will, maybe other intuitive downloads will come as a result of this, but it is going to be Venus retrograde anyway, at the exact time of the full moon in Gemini. And it's just, I felt really called to do that. And so a new episode won't come out until possibly January 2022. I haven't decided exactly which date yet, but don't worry, you will find out through social media, or you'll just, if you're subscribed, you should just get the download immediately. And before I even go into that, if you love this podcast, if you even like it, and it gives you some kind of value, I would love if you subscribed, if you gave a review and you rated it, because the more you do that and the more you share it, the more it becomes known to other people. It climbs up the algorithm, and because this is something that I do for free for the collective, I actually have to pay to get this on the airways. And because I believe strongly in my own editorial freedom and not having commercials and not having ads, that I wanted to do it in this way. So I actually pay an editor, a producer, as you know, Catherine. Thank you, Catherine. And I pay to get this out there because for me, this is my I would say gift, but like energetic exchange to the world in sharing what I've learned and also sharing the wisdom from the people around me who I personally learned so much from. So I would love for you to do that. And also, if you know already that and some of you are cross listeners to the Work podcast, but I also co-created a podcast with my really, really dear friend, bestie, Brittany Simone Anderson. We co-host a podcast called The Work Podcast, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen those episodes on the Awaken and Align platform, because it kind of really birthed out of this desire and need and want out of 2020 to really talk about social justice and decolonial work and anti-racism work as it relates to spirituality, because I believe they're intricately linked. Is that even a word? So if you feel called to listen to that work, and I really encourage everybody to listen to that, because these educators and healers and speakers are just so freaking amazing. I've learned so much from them. The Work podcast has its own home on all of the platforms that Awaken and Align is on. So Spotify for Android users and Stitcher, and then Apple Podcasts. So it's under the Work podcast. The work is with an E. And those episodes will continue to come out for the rest of season 2, which I think is until February. So I have been really working on that with Brittany. And for those of you who have podcasts, you know that it's not just talking and interviewing people. There's this whole back end production system that goes on, behind the scenes, and also promoting it on social media. And I do everything myself with the help of Catherine, but I'm a one-woman show, and I also have other things that I do, which I love doing. I'm just like an expansive person, and I don't want to be in a niche. I think everything and every system that I've learned and every experience that I've ever had really contributes to my main mission here on earth, which is to help people heal the blockages and traumas and the past in order for people to co-create their life of wealth and abundance and well-being in all aspects of their lives. Like, I truly believe that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to share. And so if you feel called to listen to the Work podcast, I would love for you to listen to that and rate, subscribe, and review as well. And for those of you who also listen to the Work podcast, thank you so much for your support and your continue support of me and the work that I do. I read all of your reviews and I read all of your DMs and shares, and it's just truly humbling to me to get to do what I want to do and what I love to do. And my ego is like feeling so validated, but then my higher self is like, no, Laura, you have to keep doing this without attachment to the validation. So both of us say thank you so much. So that is that with the podcast. And also I want to interview more people from different areas of study and beyond astrology. It just so happened that 2021 I was super into astrology. I mean, I spend like 24/7 every day learning about something when I get really into it, into a system. I have that like addictive personality. And 2021 just happened to be my interest. And if you were listening to this podcast and you were like, why was there so much astrology? It's because I really believe that it gives a framework to talk about the archetypes and the seasons and the elemental changes of life. And 2021 was a 5 year. It was such a pivotal year of change for me personally, and that's what I observed from just living here on earth at this time. And next year is going to be a 6 year, 2022, and the year of the tiger, which has its own energy. And I just really lean on all of the systems that I've learned to give me more awareness as I was reading that quote from the Four Agreements, like we need that awareness to understand that something is not right in order for us to change it. So that is why I created this platform, Awaken and Align. It's to awaken to the things so that we can change it and that we could become more in alignment with our true nature, our authentic self. And in the beginning of this year, I talked about authenticity so much because also I have my moon and Venus in Aquarius, which Aquarian energy is all about authenticity, radical authenticity. And currently we still have Saturn and Jupiter transiting through the sign of Aquarius. And at the end of December, Jupiter is moving into the sign of Pisces, which we'll talk more about in 2022. So I really, really wanted to share more of myself as well and my own personal journey and be more open about that. So that is segueing into my next announcement, which is that I don't know if some of you don't know, but I do have a YouTube channel and I definitely want to grow it. I just released my first vlog on YouTube, and it's interesting because I feel now Instagram for me has been this place of sharing more of what I do and sharing my work, and TikTok has become more of that as well. Whereas on YouTube and on here, I want to share more of my personal story because, as you probably can tell, I'm not a short-winded person. I like to explain things. I like to go into detail and depth. So my YouTube channel is a place where I share the video formats of the Work podcast, the Awaken and Align podcast, And also, I do twice a month moon cycles, and I use astrology and tarot to give you messages. So, the last one I did was the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And the next one, which will be coming out this week, is the full moon in Gemini, and that comes out twice a month. And then now I'm going to start doing vlogs so you could see more of my personal life and me sharing my own personal story. And I feel like that's important because I don't remember when I said it. It might have been during Scorpio season, but I'm not only here to like share with you what I've learned as a teacher, but I'm also a student of life. And I recognize that what I share is from my perspective and my own lived experience. So I want to also mention that I'm just going through all these transits like everybody else. I don't know everything, and but at the same time, I believe in the power of storytelling. And I believe that me specifically being a Korean American woman, that I'm speaking to my younger self, the little Laura who wanted somebody so desperately, who was doing something expansive and cool like I am today. So it's like I'm talking to myself in different timelines via this podcast and YouTube. So that I hope you check out and the YouTube channel, and I hope that you like all of the different facets of what I have to share, because it is definitely like Laura just does not like one thing. She likes to do a lot of different things. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I am also writing a book right now, and I'm super excited. And I didn't share that for a long time because I had my own limiting beliefs, or as my mom says, limiting believing, that I had to get through, and a lot of my own work that I had to get through, which is so interesting because as this opportunity came to me, I had to really go through a lot of that work that I'm writing about in real time and manifesting things in real time. And so I'm sharing it now because I do want to remind everybody that manifestation, in my definition, which just means creating things from your dreams and your visions out of something that you have envisioned, and co-creating it with the universe. And it's so possible because I've seen it happen over and over and over again in my life, my own personal life, and also the people around me. And I think from 2020 to 2021, as you all know, were pretty like difficult times for me, difficult transits for me personally, and I almost forgot that. I forgot about dreaming and envisioning and believing in the power of co-creation and manifestation. And I believe that my manifestation powers were almost like, I kind of felt like spirit put like poured water on me, because I'm usually a pretty fiery person, because I believe this time was meant for me to not create anything. It was meant for me to go inward, even though I still created stuff, right? Like I created this podcast, and I formed a lot of new relationships and partnerships, and I still created, but I felt like my ability to manifest wasn't as I guess full on power as I know it usually can be. And I think that in itself was spirit telling me to be more in the receptive mode versus the yang, the action mode. And my progressed moon was in Cancer for 2 years, so it was all about me really being in touch with my feelings and my emotions. So anyway, that is to say that 2022 is such a creative year. 6 is the number of harmony and balance. It is the number of the Lover's card in Tarot. It's union with the other. I think relationships is going to be a huge topic for all of us next year. If not, I mean, for some of you, has probably been for a couple of years. But also Venus being in retrograde at the beginning of 2022 and Mars being in retrograde at the end of 2022, we are going to be playing with a lot of this yin and yang, this active and being energy, receptive and action, and feminine and masculine energies, the solar and the lunar energies. So I just wanted to bring all this up so you have a you get kind of excited, because I do think Jupiter moving into Pisces and it being a tiger year in Chinese astrology, we are going to be able to create and be able to tap into the dream realms and spirituality and art, and creating art for the sake of creating, and not having this expectation that everything has to be a side hustle or everything has to be monetized. Let's just create beautiful things because we love it and we want to. And so that's kind of the energy that I'm moving into for 2022. And for that reason alone, I want to take a 2 week break on this podcast and really allow myself to be in this energy of creation and receptivity, like almost like the Empress and the High Priestess card in one, so that in 2022 I'm very intentional with my energy and like what I put my energy towards. So some of the things that I let go of towards the end of Scorpio season was I'm changing the format of the moon circles that I have created. And I noticed myself not even promoting it as much towards the middle of 2021, because I really wanted to create this sacred container with the people that were already in it. But also, I wanted to change it to just being twice a month for everybody. Previously, I had it in 3 different tiers, but I'm changing it to be just one tier. We meet twice a month, everybody, on the full and new moons, and we really do tune into the lunar energies and the other celestial bodies. And I'm going to start sharing all of the things that I've written in this book and all of the things that I've researched to create I guess like a co-creative manifestation circle with the moon. So if you're interested in that, it's currently available for $20 a month. And any extra celestial events like a solstice or equinox will just be free 99, and I will just share that link with all of you. But I think my observations from 2021 was I freaking love holding circles. I love holding space. I love building community. I love listening to different people's experiences and having a sacred container for us to share our real experiences. And anybody in my circle can tell you, and maybe I shouldn't speak on their behalf, but they can show up exactly as they are. There's no toxic positivity, there's no forcing opinions. It's just all of us sharing our fears and our dreams, and moving through the waves, the ebbs and flows of life. So I kind of gotten rid of showing up on a weekly basis just because I wanted to also create more space. And that was really hard because I really felt like 2020 and 2021, I wanted to be in a space and also hold space for people on a weekly basis because we really needed that, right? But going into a very expansive year in 2022, I knew that I needed to let that part go, because my hope and wish, and we shall see because things are changing so fast, is that I do want to travel more in 2022. I do want to activate my Sagittarian stellium and and be more mobile again. This is the longest I've stayed in one place, and this is the longest I've stayed home with my parents, and I would never trade that for anything because I've learned so much and I'm so grateful to my parents, and we've healed so much, at least on my end. And I think they really know me now, and they've definitely know me as an adult. But I think 2022, I'm ready to, and Jupiter's moving into my fourth house. So I'm ready for that expansion in that way. So yeah, that is one of the things I let go of. And I probably have let go of other things, but since I physically let go of them, I've like mentally and energetically already like let go of them. So I can't even think of the things that I have. But my point in sharing this is that this is a really amazing time for the next 2 weeks of December is to let go. I mean, we're approaching the full moon in Gemini. So the full moon is about releasing, and it's about being aware of everything that's around you in your physical environment. This full moon happens to be in the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So it can be the other, right? Gemini is also the lover's card. And Mercury rules our mind. So, what things do you want to release? What things do you want to let go of? So that when you are stepping into January 1st, 2022, you're co creating on fertile soil, on fertile, like, a fertile canvas, a blank canvas, but just you're ready to create now. I feel like 2022 is a very creative energy. Um, and I've probably spoken about this before, but Nikola Tesla believed the 369 numbers are the secrets of the universe. And I believe that to be true too, because 3 has the resonance of creation, 6 has the resonance of harmony, and 9 has the resonance of endings. So personally, this is the last year of my 30s. Yes, hello. 2021 was 39, and I'm going to be 40 in 3 months. And I can tell you, every year that has ended in a 9, so 19, 29, 39, has always been an interesting year of release, of letting go, of shedding. And if you follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, you know that I have been shedding a lot of stuff. I don't really have the time to share all of it, but there's a lot more that I don't personally want to share because I am a super private person. But there has been a lot of shedding and releasing going on, and I can say that I feel so different, Laura Chung, today than I did 2 years ago, even before the panorama happened. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful to be alive, first of all. I'm so grateful to be healthy and able bodied. And I'm just so grateful that I get to do what I get to do. And you are all listening to me. Like, what? Little Laura would have been like, no way. Like, you can do that? You can actually have fun in your job and want to do it? Um, and I want to tell little Laura right now, because this is probably gonna, hit some kind of timeline, that you can do it. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. And even as I'm speaking now, my co-creator Brittany on the Work podcast, she asked me yesterday, "What are you manifesting for 2022?" And I told her, and I don't want to necessarily share it yet because it hasn't the parts of it haven't formed at all. I was just sharing what I'm manifesting. And she said, "Oh, I didn't know you were interested in that. I didn't know that was like in your radar." And I said, "That's because I never gave myself the time and space to dream that big. I never thought that was possible for me, but now I do." And now maybe it's the Jupiter moving into Pisces, and maybe it's all the self-growth work that I've been doing and all the shedding of the limiting beliefs. But now I know it's possible, and now I know the steps that I can personally take to make that dream happen. And also I have a really solid relationship with spirit and the universe where I trust fully that it can be manifested. So I wanted to keep this episode short. I cannot believe that I'm going to actually deliver on that promise, but I just wanted to come on here and share with you what I've been up to. And if you do want to be more connected on a regular basis, you can follow me on the Instagrams at I am Laura Chung, or my TikTok, I am Laura Chung, or on YouTube on at Laura Chung. But I will link everything in the show notes, and you can kind of follow me along on this journey called life. But I am so grateful for all of you. I am so, again, this might actually make me emotional. I'm so grateful that I have listeners all over the world. And I'm so excited to come back on here in 2022 and kind of recap of what we've all learned from 2021, what we're excited about 2022. And if you feel called to be in circle with me on a more personal level, you can also join our moon circles. And I'm just so grateful again. You're like the biggest present that a girl could ever want in life. And I'm just so grateful for all of your energy. I can feel all of your energy transmuting through the podcast streams. So thank you so much and have a beautiful rest of 2021.